Greetings to everybody out there. So today I'm here to discuss about UGC NET paper 1, the first module, that is teaching aptitude. So I will be teaching now, posting videos about teaching aptitude under various part. So this is part 1, that is education. So let us go into the subject. So first of all, we are going to see about education in this entire video. So the definition and meaning of education is like very important, which you have to pay attention to, because there are so many definitions and meaning of education given by various people. So like for example, we have Swami Vivekananda, who defines education as the manifestation of perfection already in man, and we have Aristotle defining education as a creation of a sound mind in a sound body. So, likewise, there are so many definitions related to education. So, also the new economic policy 2020, education is a fundamental for achieving full human potential, developing an equitable and just society, and promoting national development. So, it has given out about education. Also, we have the global education development agenda, which says like it ensures inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all by 2030. So likewise, there has been development in the education system, and also there are like many laws and reforms that's formed for education at recent times. So UNESCO celebrates October 5 as the World Teachers Day, whereas like India celebrates Teachers Day on September 5th. That is the birth anniversary of our second president, Dr. Radhakrishnan. Okay, so likewise, you have to go through many definitions and meanings of education, followed by that, the major philosophies and approaches in education. So, there are so many philosophy, and philosophy is a vast subject, and all aspects of education, like such as the aims, objectives, curriculum, teaching methods, everything is like influenced by philosophy. So like we have so many philosophies and approaches in education. The three bases of education is where why is decided by philosophy, how is decided by philosophy, and what is decided by the social needs. So education is based on philosophical, psychological, and social aspects. So Socrates is considered to be the father of education, and we have something called the idealism. So the word idealism has been arrived from ideal. It is actually about mind and self, that reflects spiritualism. So the universal mind is the central of understanding of the world. So this kind of idealism proponents are like discussed by Froebel, Kant, Plato, Vivekananda, and Sri Aurobindo. So these people have spoke about idealism. Next is naturalism. So naturalism is where it is like contrary to idealism. Naturalism is a philosophy that believes nature alone represents the entire reality. It takes into account the natural matter, the natural forces, and the natural laws. So, like people, the main propagandist of naturalism are Tagore, Rousseau, and Herbert Spencer. And next is pragmatism. So here we focus on the word utility. So pragmatism focuses on activity or doing. It lives in the world of facts. So humans are like active beings and have the ability to solve their problems through the logical logic of experiments and scientific methods. So like education has a pragmatic approach. So these were like many have spoke about pragmatism, like John Dewey, Kilpatrick, Maid, etc. Many persons. And the fifth is the constructivism. So constructivism is where Jean Piaget and J.S. Bernard believe that learning involves an active processing of information, and that each individual actively organizes and constructs knowledge for itself. So it's like something constructive. And next is humanism. So humanism is like a reasonable balance in life and regards humans, because humanism believes in the interest and welfare of human beings. So life of a human being should be transformed so that the welfare of all becomes a goal. So that is about humanism. Next is the rationalism. So the rationalists actually claim that there is a significant ways through which our concepts and knowledge gain independently through a sense of experience. And we have empiricists. They claim that sensory experiences are the ultimate source of all our concepts and knowledge. So like that we have existentialism, where it is kind of philosophy that emphasizes individual existence, freedom, and choice. So, this emphasizes the uniqueness and isolation of the individual experiences, which has some link between the education systems. And next is the behaviorisms. That is, it assumes that the learner is a passive organism who may be conditioned to learn new behavior. And under that, people like try to say that behaviorism may be due to the law of exercise or law of effect. The law of exercise is where like practice makes a man perfect. Repeating a conditioned response would strengthen the bond between the stimulus and the response. But when we say the law of effect, it is where it has a principle where the pleasures and pains resulting from the previous behavior decides our future behavior. Like that we have the gestalt psychology, electric psychology, which has a connection with education. So like that we have to go through all these major philosophies and approaches in education. And some important concepts in education and teaching, and other proponents. So the concepts and the proponents who spoke about it, questions are expected with regard to this, because so we have to go through all the definitions, meanings, the major approaches and all. So like for example, I've given the basic education was like spoken by Mahatma Gandhi. Then learning to take place in nature and from nature was from Rabindranath Tagore. So education is of an integral education was said by Sri Aurobindo. And Aurobindo. And focus on spiritual aspects of Indian philosophy was said by Dr. Radhakrishnan. Then education to transfer human mind was given by J. Krishnamurti. Then it is an experimental learning, says John Dewey. Self education through development of individuality, says Maria. Then kindergarten focuses on self activity, creativeness, and self cooperation, says Froebel. And education is where no formal learning, nature is the only teacher, says Rousseau. So there are different forms of education. So the forms of education are nothing but formal, informal, and non-formal. So the formal education is where everything is pre-planned and organized. For example, imparted through institutions like the schools, colleges, etc. We have the second one, that's a informal. The informal is indirect and spontaneous. Like for example, imparted through day-to-day activities from home and community. And last but not the least, we have the non-formal. The non-formal is where it's like flexible and open system that's like imparted through the conscious and deliberate efforts. So next, we have to focus on the aim and objectives of education. So we have persons like Havgrist and Newgarten have given two important functions of education. That is, education is a mirror that reflects it reflects the society as it is, or to be the stabilizer of the society. Then they say that education is an agent of social change for a force directed towards implementing the ideas of the society. And also we have George Plain, a sociologist, has given three main functions like the assimilation of traditions, development of new social patterns, creative and constructive role. they actually try to say that education is required to perform the functions of the cultural transmission and enrichment, acceptance and reformulations, the change and reconstruction. So the process why the young generation learns the traditional way of society is called enculturation, and this differs from society to society. So through education, enculturation is formalized. Acculturation is the process through which a person or group from one culture comes to adopt the practices and values of another culture, but they hold a distinct unit of their own culture as well. So these are the aims and objectives, and also the functions that have been like suggested by many people about education. And we have something called the factors determining the educational aims. So what are they? The first, like philosophy. So philosophy and education are two sides of a coin. So philosophy is the main factor that determines the aim of education, and education is termed to be the best means for propagation of philosophy. So it is like a two sides of a coin. And next we have the human nature. It is closely linked with philosophy. For example, idealists regard unfolding of the divine in man as the aim of education. So the third one is the social cultural factors and problems. So education has to preserve and transmit the cultural heritage and traditions from one generation to another. And also we have the religious factors. So in ancient India, Buddhism emphasizes the inculcation of the ideas of religion such as the ahimsa and truth into the prevailing education system. Next, we have the political ideologies. The educational aims of the democratic political system can be like quite different from the autocratic political setup. Next we have the exploration of knowledge. So knowledge is must for good interpersonal relationships, healthy adjustments in life, modification of behavior. So it is a source of happiness. So the other factors determining educational aims are where we have the vocational, where education should prepare the child to earn his livelihood and make himself sufficient and efficient. So we have self actualization and total development, where the education aims at total development of an individual, be it includes its physical, mental, emotional, social and spiritual developments. Next, we have the harmonious development, where Mahatma Gandhi has emphasized his aim of education, where he said, by education, we mean an all round drawing out of the best in a child and a man, body, mind, and spirit. We have something like the moral and the character development. So education must enable a child to cultivate moral values and virtues, such as the truthfulness, say, goodness, purity, courage, honesty, etc. Then citizenship. A member of a society, a student, as a member of a society, students should be conscious about their duties, functions, and obligations towards society. And last but not the least, education for leisure. So leisure is a time where you utilize for enjoyment and recreation. So it is needed to make us rest and regain energy. So leisure, if wisely used, gives birth to physical and mental balance. So artistic, moral, ethics developments can be like inspired through the beneficial use of your leisure time. And some specified aims of education in Indian context, that is the University of Education Commission of 1948 was chaired by Dr. S. Radhakrishnan. Then these points has to be like studied. You have to get to know about the various commissions and committees that were formed for education and who led it and from when to when. So these are like important portion to be like taken care of. We have the Secondary Education Commission of 1952 to 53 headed by Dr. Murlidhar, and National Education Committee was set up by Dr. again Radhakrishnan. The Kothari Education Commission was from 1964 to 66. We had the National Educational Policy of 1986, which has some main aims and objectives for education, like an education must be of a scientific temper. Education must be like um, of good quality, and education is for equality. And obviously education must promote research in all areas of development. So, in such cases, the National Education Policy of 1986 also has some some aims and objectives for our education system. So, these are about education system. So, these concepts, these meanings and definitions, the approaches, so all these are to be given importance. So, with this, my part one a video of teaching aptitude is done. The entire teaching aptitude syllabus will be covered in the later videos. So, if you want to get more notes and updates about it, kindly subscribe Just Subject Matters to get updations. Thank you.